Hi everyone, it's Joel and Andy on the Codebreak Stay Hungry podcast. Today we're going to be talking to you about how to make sure you're making the most of sales season. Hi Andy, how you doing?
Hi Joel, you all right?
Yeah, all right, I think, yeah.
Excellent. So what we're talking about today, sales, I believe.
Yeah, so...
Well, I don't need to do sales, Joel. That's demeaning my product. I don't need to do a sale or a discount.
Well, I guess we should make sure the listeners know by sales in this sense we mean discount seasons. So your Januaries, your summer sales, your spring sale, your Black Fridays, that kind of thing.
So and let's face it, we know some very rich people who still love a sale. They love a discount. So don't go thinking because your product's so exclusive and special and luxurious that a good, well thought out sale is beneath you, because we've seen many a business come a cropper by thinking that way.
Do you know what I watched last night?
I'm trying to think of The Mandalorian, but that had nothing to do with sales, so I won't go with that one.
I'm staying on track today. So
the Boiler Room, whatever it's called.
No.
So, Wolf of Wall Street.
Never get there.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I watched a documentary. I watched two documentaries last night. One was about behind the scenes of Poundland, and one was about behind the scenes of Harrods. And effectively, both documentaries were the same.
Wow. Okay. I watched the Harrods one probably a year or so ago. I totally forgot that Harrods was bombed. Totally forgot that.
Yeah. Was it 1982?
Was it just after or before around Charles and Di's wedding?
That was in the documentary. Yeah, they put a plaque on the outside of Harrods, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like somebody died, didn't they?
Yeah.
So no, we went to Harrods last year, and my children had never been to Harrods before, and they were bowled over. I suppose. Don't get me wrong, there are bargains to be had there. We went straight to the sweet section there, and all those. What are those? Is it Lindor?
Yeah,
Lindor sweets, like tons of them, same price as you get them in Sainsbury's, to be honest, just getting a nice little Harrods carrier bag. And the kids loved it, but they were just looking at, well, lots of clearly very wealthy people, and just we were just there people watching, and it was brilliant. And I suppose we could people watch if we went to Poundland as well. So we don't. I admit, I haven't been to Poundland for a while.
So my point being, the two biggest sales hours for Harrods in the year is 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve.
Right.
Which was pretty
all
much
men
explained as men leaving the office.
Yep.
Wishing to buy something expensive to make up for their lack of imagination. And then their next biggest hour was whenever it opened on Boxing Day for the Harrods sale.
Oh God, they open on Boxing Day, do they?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's people queuing around the block, and they have to put entertainment on in the streets and all sorts.
God.
But if a brand as prestigious as Harrods has a sale, chances are you should probably consider it, even if you're only doing it to shift excess stock.
Now, I'm going to say something. And don't laugh at my naivety, because I might have been into a Poundland a long time ago. I can't remember. But What sale do they do when everything's a pound?
So they don't do a sale. The point I was making was that the way they're operated as a business in terms of attention to detail, in terms of staff training, in terms of mystery shopping, was all very much the same as Harrods, but they're at completely opposite ends of the market.
And because a couple of sort of Poundland type shops chains have gone under, haven't they?
Yeah. I think Poundland's the last remaining big one, isn't it?
Wow. I don't know. There's an urban myth going around about, when some people have the smart idea of launching 99p shops, and of course, if someone's looking to get something for £1, they will probably walk an extra mile to get something for 99p. And those 99p stores did very well. Whether they still do or not, who knows?
What about a 98p shop?
Well, there we go. That's our new business, Joel. I think we just cut to the chase and do it for nothing.
I just can't understand how they can sell half of this stuff for £1. It blows my mind.
Well, okay, me and you, we try and support local when we can. But the fact is, sometimes you just have to buy shit online. And whether it's, oh my God, I've run out of batteries and I can't drive it, or whatever.
Yeah.
And what did I order the other day? For some reason, we can't find phone charger cables for love nor money. There's about 20 phones in this house, and we've got 2 leads between us. So I just went on to Amazon, and I got these 2 leads, all sort of nicely. They weren't just cables. They've got that sort of like fiber wrapping around this. It's supposed to be really robust, certified by Apple, blah, 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 super fast charging. $5.99 for 2 of them, free delivery. They've already arrived.
So they work.
How the fuck do they make money? So there's obviously some bloke, probably in the Far East or whatever, running a factory churning these out. I can only see that's the only way to make money, which makes me sound really shit now for supporting these people. But how else do you make a profit on something that's so low priced?
It blows my mind. Blows my mind.
When you can, you can see if you can buy, I don't know, a can of Lynx, because we talked about Lynx recently. If you can buy that in Wilko's for £1.50 and buy exactly the same Lynx in Sainsbury's for £3, then you can see why there's a price difference, because Sainsbury's has bigger buildings, bigger rates, more staff and all that. So of course they have to price higher. But when you're at the £1.50 end of the market, you're looking around and thinking, oh, how the hell are you doing it? Is it purely volume?
Yeah, because when pound shops sort of first appeared, I suppose, before there was chain ones, I always used to just think it was like end of line stock and back of a lorry type stuff. But now they have, genuine products and slightly smaller boxes of cornflakes and all these things, and just amazing.
Wow. So Poundland don't do sales, but they operate pretty much the same way in terms of how they approach
Harrods do a sale, and the way they hook people in is obviously there's some very expensive high ticket items. Let's say handbags or shoes. Shoes was featured on this program, and there'll be 1 or 2 pairs in the whole of Harrods that are at 50% off. Obviously, other products in there are at 20% off and 10% off. But the reason people are queuing around the block is because they think they're going to get into Harrods and get some Louboutins for 50% off. And that's how they pull the punters in.
Blimey. And I assume it's always a roaring success then?
Yeah, I think so. But the reason I sort of raised this for the podcast was that essentially, if you're not careful with how you go about your sales and how you're competing with your competitors, you could just fall into the trap of being price orientated and actually not making money. And here we are. Yeah,
the fastest race to the bottom, my old boss used to call it. And I think there are still some business owners who just automatically assume a sale or an offer. Oh, you mean 10% off? Now, funnily enough, there's a client I worked with for almost a decade. And for him, 10% off always worked. Now, obviously, he didn't do it all the time, but every now and then, if he needed a business needed a bit of a kick up the arse, he'd do a 10% off, promote it extensively, and the orders would come in. But generally speaking, it's just 10% off your bottom line. So if you can do a creative offer, an upsell, a cross-sell, so you bought this, well, we'll chuck in this as well for just a couple of extra quid. And obviously, with so many people buying stuff online now, it's almost easy to do. Because the punter almost expects it. When you go onto a website for the first time to buy a bottle of wine, you almost think, oh, I wonder what kind of deals they have going on, and you have a look around. So imagine if the business owner, takes the bull by the horns, preempts that thought, and actually presents that to the customer first. Happy days. And if they can do it somehow differently to the majority of the lazy competition, even happier days, ecstatic days. There we go.
Exactly that. So
I was going to say very happy then, Joel, and you would have shot me.
Oh, with your adverbs.
No, that would have been an adjective in that case. Is that right? Oh, either way, it's not a conversation for a podcast. People will just fall asleep.
Yeah.
Which hopefully they're not doing already.
You've thrown me. You've got me thinking about grammar. And now George is calling me. Unbelievable, this, isn't it?
Oh, God, have I turned my phone off? Oh, yes, mine is actually
Turn off. Okay, break. That wasn't my phone. That's the laptop.
Oh, right. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, mine's...
Because they're hooked up.
Yeah, so real live podcast recording.
Yeah. The doorbell's about to go too. Your Christmas present's 2 stops away.
Oh, exciting. Can't believe it's almost... Well, it's only a bloody week away, isn't it?
Only a week away, yeah.
So of course we're going sales mad now because you got your Black Friday into Cyber Monday, and then before you know it, it's Christmas. Then there'll be the January sale. Then there'll be Valentine's sales. Then there'll be something to do with Mother's Day, Father's Day. You're into spring, summer sale. It's almost ongoing, and that's why you can't just. I mean, some businesses are well known for just running the same offer all year round, and they might get some. They might get a few people in, but not to the vast majority. So having to think about positioning a creative offer well, something that most of your competitors don't do, it can really be the difference between someone pressing that buy button and going off elsewhere to have another look around.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think you can be really smart about how you go about it too, because every business has loss leaders or fantastic offers to get people in, much like the Harrods example I gave before. But then it's once they're in, what do you present them with? So let's say you sell camping gear. Now, there's going to be camping gear sales in January because it's out of season. But you get somebody in with a great discount on last year's tent, but then when they get to checkout, do you upsell them with upgraded camping pegs or camping chairs or a camping stove? And suddenly your sale can become a very, very lucrative offering.
We love an upsell, don't we? And obviously, to be honest, most of the big boys do this. But then, we got some clients who do it very well. So if you're in an e-commerce business and you're not upselling and cross-selling, you're just missing such a massive trick. And if you do know that opportunity is there for you, but you're not doing it, I can only assume it's because, technically maybe you don't know how to implement it on your website, or there's just that British reservedness, which, to be honest, we do encounter with some clients, that there's fear that it's a bit vulgar. Well, they're already about to give me £10. Well, I can't really well ask them for £12, can I? And it's like, we come back to that, would you like fries with that? It's such an inoffensive question. You piss off maybe one person out of 100, so don't worry about him. Think about the other 99 people. It's still an untapped market for so many businesses.
And people don't know they need something until you show them that you've got it.
If I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses.
Yeah.
That's what Henry Ford said.
He did.
So, all for like gauging the opinion to see, is there a market for what I'm about to sell? But at some point, like no one needed an iPad when that was unveiled. What the fuck's this? What's this tablet thing?
Yeah.
Then once you got one, it's like, oh my God, how did I manage without one?
And it's that, let's say you're selling a tent. When the upsell pops up to say upgraded guy ropes, the psychology of that's very smart as well, because suddenly you're going, right, so the guy ropes that come with it aren't as good as they could be. Perhaps I need upgraded ones in case it's windy when I go camping.
Yeah.
And you're suddenly placing that thought in the person's mind, and then they upgrade their guy ropes and they're like, right, well, I wonder if the pegs are good enough. And you kind of get into that game that you're playing with the consumer where suddenly they realize, actually, I really want to do this properly. I want all the right gear. I don't just want the discounted tent.
It's almost like a cheeky bit of painstacking, really, but almost like reverse painstacking. It's like putting that little C, like upgrade is not a negative word, but it's like, oh, upgraded safety features. Oh,
Exactly
right, okay.
Upgrade, and this sounds like marketing black magic, but the word upgrade suggests that the product that they've got isn't as good as it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Massively. Well, I don't want to just veer off into cycling now, but obviously I do love the cycling and buy lots of cycling stuff, and they're really good at it. There's some of the language, some of these firms like Castelli and Rafa use, it's all about the upgrades, the premium, the luxurious, but with safety coming through without, whether it's a piece of clothing you're buying or so, to make sure you're as safe as you can be on the road. And it's just, there's some cycling firms, I've got to be honest, I don't buy stuff off. I just watch them just to see some of their genius at work and get some ideas, because some of the stuff they come up with, it's like, wow. just using one word can make the difference. Because I think people's attention span, I mean, it would be wonderful if people landed on your website and there were no other distractions and they sat on your website and had a good look around. But it doesn't work like that. So just having one word in the right place on the right page of your website can again be the difference between someone buying and going off elsewhere.
Oh, someone asked me yesterday, how did I find out about a chatbot that I've been looking at? And sad but true fact about me, I will go on cool websites that I have no intention of buying from to see how they treat me. So what happens when I put stuff in the basket and leave it there? What happens if I'm on a page for more than 30 seconds? What happens if I scroll to a certain part of the website? And I just study it, because it's the best way to learn how to implement those things for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both know now that if we're looking for something online, say some kind of product, but towards a higher end, and we're looking at this website, and if we don't buy anything, if we pretty soon don't start getting served retargeting ads by that company, we know they're not doing their job properly.
Mm.
And I know some people don't like retargeting ads, but unfortunately, mate, you got to take yourself out of the equation. It's such a dangerous thing to think, well, I don't like it when companies email me. Well, you're not everyone. Now, you might have a point. If everyone else agrees with you, fine. But chances are, just because you don't like getting me emailed more than once a week, well, look at the unsubscribe rate on your emails. It's like 5%. So live with it.
Yeah, and the power of retargeting now, in terms of rescuing abandoned baskets, in terms of people who've spent a certain amount of time on a certain section of your website, in terms of showing people products that are related to the product they've already bought. There's so much you can do with retargeting.
Because even in a sale, you've hooked someone in. There's still no guarantee they're going to, complete the checkout process. Something, life gets in the way. The doorbell goes. We saw this during lockdown. Everyone getting deliveries 20 times a day. So it's something they might get around to tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes unless you're staying in touch with that person. So by that time, have you captured their email address or not? Are you retargeting them anyway? And then you can at least stay in touch with them, because they could buy off you on we've got clients where it's like day 60 the purchase is made, but most businesses have given up way before that.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I was looking at a checkout for a client only recently, and thinking about abandoned carts and retargeting. And you'll have some products that are so fast moving that if somebody hasn't bought it within 2 or 3 days of seeing it, they're never going to.
Yeah.
But then if you're somebody that's selling something like a TV, you should be looking at a much longer time period, because people are probably shopping around. It's a big purchase decision, so maybe they've got to save up for it. And that's a really important factor when you're thinking about your abandoned carts and your retargeting and your sales process, and on what day do you offer that person a discount to finalize their decision. It's quite smart.
Yeah, I remember talking to a colleague years and years ago. He used to run a business down in Cheltenham, and he started off being a car dealer, and people come in to have a look around. Obviously, they're slightly warm because they've come in to have a look to start with, so they are probably interested in buying a car. But when it comes to the whole, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna talk to my wife. Oh, they leave, and he say, we said they're going to catch the B back bus, and of course that bus never comes back, and they've got no way of staying in touch with that person once they've left the showroom. Now, obviously, online, you've got a whole host of different opportunities to stay in front of that person. And I'm not saying bombard them. Obviously, some businesses do, don't they? They're like, oh my God, that's the 5th email off this bloke I've had today. But others, if they do it correctly, like, oh, right, yeah, I never thought about that. They take you on that journey. And then at the end, obviously, you reach the destination, which is completing the sale.
Yeah, and it's exactly that, isn't it? It's the science of the customer journey, or the prospect journey, in the sense of, where will they first see me? What do I show them after they've first seen me? Then what happens? At what point do I want them to buy? Once they've bought, then what happens? What do I want them to buy next? And it's so different to, I guess, what most people would think, in the sense of, right, I need to get them in front of my product and then hopefully they'll buy it.
Yeah, it's just very, yeah. There's a lot of I guess short-term thinking. Is it right? 50% off. Let's just get some money in, get everyone through the doors, and we'll worry about tomorrow.
Mm.
And I think and I do get that point. Yeah, we're business owners, of course. Cash flow is important to get that money in now, but to have that long-term strategy and not just to have to fall back on a 50% offer, because again, that's another danger of just using a straightforward percentage all the time. You'll get people who won't buy off you normally because they're just, right, well, he runs 20% off pretty much every other month. I'll just wait till next month. And that's why if you can be a little bit creative, you can think about the cross-sell, the upsells opportunity, if you can capture their email address, you've got ways of staying in touch with them, because a sale should never be about that one fixed period of time. A Boxing Day sale should never just be about getting the till ringing on Boxing Day. It should be helping protect your future for the next year, to get that customer keep coming back, and then you can encourage them to refer their friends to you, because if these customers are buying off you, you want people like them, so you want their mates to come and buy off you. It's wonderful stuff.
I've no idea what you just said, but the doorbell went and I had to go and get your Christmas present, and then I came back and you were still talking.
Bloody hell. That's like the old sales thing. Someone telesells you and you just put the phone down, go make a cup of tea, come back and they're still yapping away.
Yeah. Oh, my trick when we used to get bombarded with telesales, I think we had that thing where you end up on a list somewhere.
Right.
I used to start trying to sell them back. So
what are you trying to sell them? Your marketing services?
Well, they'd ring up and say, would you like some double glazing? And I'd be like, well, would you like some sand?
Well, my parents were Seventh-day Adventists, so whenever we used to get Jehovah's Witnesses knocking at the door, they just told me, just say you're Seventh-day Adventist, and they just, oh, right, brilliant, yeah, and they walk away. So there we go, Joel, give me you a bit of a tip there.
Yeah, okay.
Well, did I tell you I got a copy of the Watchtower through the post when I went to check the post the other day?
Did you?
Yeah, so the Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't know how, but yeah, my name handwritten with a biro on an envelope with the work address on, and it was there in my pigeonhole. I thought, oh, what's this? Because it doesn't look like a bill. Always nice. Open it up, and it was a copy of the Watchtower and a letter. Thought it might be a benefit because like they know that things have been tough for businesses this year, and it's like, oh wow.
I'm going to be offended if there isn't one in my pigeonhole.
Oh yeah, I didn't look. Sorry. Oh, but I could save this copy for you if you want some spiritual enlightenment for you, Joel.
Super. Can't wait.
Right, what else can you say about sale? What happens if you are selling stuff at the lower end of the market, if you're selling on price and volume anyway?
So I guess there's different kinds of sales. So do you mean online or offline, or don't mind?
Let's stick with the online, shall we?
Okay.
You're selling loads of widgets. You're selling like my phone cables, and it's 2 for $5.99.
So I'd say in January, the traditional reason for the January sale is to obviously get rid of the excess stock that you bought for Christmas.
Yep.
So you can look at it like that, and as long as you're making the money back on the excess, is that an opportunity for you to discount? Or you can look at it as an opportunity to pull people into your store, like we were saying before, where you're probably only breaking even on that stock that you need to get rid of, but once they're in, what are they exposed to that you are making money on?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you join in.
Oh right, okay. What would you like me to say? I've got to be honest. I'm trying to think if we've had a client recently sort of, because obviously we love business sell on volume. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But you have to understand, like say if we've got a client who sells on volume, that you're going to have more of a loyalty issue, because if people are buying on price, then obviously, generally speaking, there isn't much loyalty. It's I've told you a story about my friend who was one of the first to open a budget gym, and you're like, bloody hell, how the hell can you offer all this in your gym membership for $12.99, Neil? And then 2 months later, whatever exercise for less symptoms, whatever, open up round the corner for $9.99, and there you go. For the sake of £3 a month, people they're out the door. If $12.99, brilliant. You think, well, people can't undercut me. Someone does undercut you. Goodbye to 2/3 of your customers.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think you'll see that there's very few online stores that are budget. So they'll normally sell through a third-party seller like Amazon or Alibaba or whatever they might use, because the overhead of running your own online store doesn't lend itself to being the budget end of the marketplace.
Yeah.
But then what they'll do in January, or not just January, is if they sell through something like Amazon, they'll have flexible pricing. So they'll, rather than having a fixed price, they'll allow Amazon to flex the price between the lowest margin they're willing to accept and then the highest margin they think they can get away with. And then Amazon can dictate what price it displays based on the behavior of the user looking at it.
It's clever stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sad that I know that, isn't it?
I do feel bad for, like, I mean, I don't know if it's still there. I mean, hopefully it is, but there's a lovely old sweet shop in town. And, you know, their average sale is like 50p. And, you know, you can imagine kids coming home from school, so like 3:30 or whatever, it gets busy then. But apart from that, you just think, what a lot of pressure they must be under. You know, just how many bags of sweets do I need to sell just to pay the rent?
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this the other day, actually, because where I grew up, we had a sweet shop in the town for most of my childhood. And the lady that worked in it my entire childhood, I just happened to know. And I said, so what happened? She said, well, through the 80s and the early 90s, we were incredibly popular. It's where people came to get their sweets.
Right.
And then the supermarkets cottoned on. And so they just sold things like big bags of Haribo. And there's just no way that these independent shops could compete.
And she went under or closed?
Well, just decided to close. I think that their first port of call was to add a cafe.
Okay.
Because then, you know, and then there is another sweet shop where I grew up that's there now, but it's very much like artisan chocolates and truffles.
I should charge a fair whack then.
Yeah, you know, you're going to get 6 chocolates and probably not get any change from a tenner, sort of thing. So
we should become artisan marketers, because we just double our prices then.
Yeah, like oven-ready marketing. It's a phrase.
Artisan. What's in there? Oh God, there's another word like artisan where you see it in front of something, you think, oh yeah, that's just fucking expensive.
Well, boutique's one, isn't it? People use the word boutique instead of, and bespoke.
Bespoke, that's a, yeah. But artisan, that's my favourite. Artisan chocolate.
Handcrafted.
we had that, didn't we? I remember someone approached us about wanting to work with us, and they made stuff out of wood, charged a fortune, and we understand that because you got some bloke in a workshop using his time and his skill and his years' experience and his tools to create these bespoke things out of wood. But he had absolutely no concept that other businesses might want to charge a premium for their experience as well. And he was just shopping around looking for the cheapest marketing company under the sun. So it's like, well, okay, what you sell, I could go to the range and buy for a tenth of the price. Well, yeah, but the range doesn't have my experience and my what? Exactly the same as us versus Fiverr.com.
Yeah. It's interesting that, isn't it? You see that with, you know, these people that carve an owl out of a tree stump or whatever. And now you'll go to the range and there's loads of machine carved wooden owls. And you know.
Speaking of owls, have you watched that Littlest Big Farm yet, or Biggest Little Farm? I can never remember which way around it is.
I've no idea what that is.
That's what I said that I thought. Oh God! Right, sorry, the dogs are kicking off now. I'm sure I mentioned it to you that Hannah would love. It's a documentary film. It's on. I think it's still on Sky Free. We paid £1 for it on Netflix or something on Prime, and it's about a Californian couple that take over this like basically dead 700-acre farm outside Los Angeles, and they use this ecologist, climatologist guy, some weird hippie bloke, who gives them advice about what seeds to sow and irrigation and all that. And basically, they create their own ecosystem, and it takes 7 years to do. And owls have to go here because they kill off these predators, and it's all nature working in harmony together. It's wonderful.
It sounds
Wonderful.
amazing, but it
It
also,
sounds amazing. I described it to the kids, and they said, "Well, that sounds really boring." I'm like, "Oh, I was quite looking forward to watching that again with them." But it's fascinating how the animals work together, and what species goes here, and it's wonderful, wonderful documentary, and there's quite a lot of owls in it, and I know Hannah likes her owls.
yeah, well, she does a lot of rewilding too. She's been involved in the beaver project.
Well, have a look on see if it's still on Sky, but it's definitely you can get it for a couple of quid on Amazon Prime. The Biggest Little Farm or The Littlest Big Farm.
I've written it down. I've definitely written it down. So
Yeah, there's even a pig in it whose best friend's a chicken.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Anyway, why are we talking about owls? Oh yeah, yeah, it is strange, isn't it, sometimes that you want to sell a premium product or service, yet pay the cheapest for everything else.
So what's the best sale you've ever seen? Put you on the spot now.
The best, almost everyday sales are boots. I'd say still a big fan of boots. You go in for a tube of toothpaste, and you come out with like enough supplies to just set up your own dental practice. I think I mentioned that last podcast. You come up with dental floss and bloody those funny little brushes, because you spend over a certain amount, you get this free, or you get 3 for the price of 2. So they do those kind of sales really well, and they'll do it on different product lines. So at the moment they could be doing it on dental products, but the next time they could be doing it on bloody body sprays or stuff like that. And yeah, really cool. If anyone needs some sort of quick and easy offers, and Boots is a good place to go to. In terms of more individual sales, what's a good one? I'll tell you, I was seeing some. So we booked a holiday for next April, and hopefully we'll be able to go away for next April. But there's some travel companies really doing some good sales around the whole COVID insurance, you're not allowed to go kind of thing.
Really?
And they're really, to be honest, that's pain stacking, but obviously it's reality, isn't it? It's like shit. If whatever reason we can't go because of COVID, we don't want to lose all this money.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's some, and to be honest, I mean, I just wouldn't take that big of a risk. I'm sure there are some people out there who want to save themselves a few quid by not taking out COVID insurance on a holiday next year. But I bet the majority of these travel companies are getting a nice little upsell, and rightly so, because they've had a shit time for about a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've got to be honest, I do like the companies that are able to offer guarantees or some kind of no commitment trial. And maybe it's almost expected online if you're buying software and stuff. Hey, listen, there's no quibble, no fanning about asking you for a fiver. You just have it for 2 weeks free of charge. That's it. And there's no getting around. Like Netflix, again, we talk about Netflix. It's just so simple and beautiful. It's like no one would expect to have Netflix free forever. Your first month is free. After that, fuck off. Or stay with us. It's literally that simple, and it's just a beautiful model. So if you can offer some kind of guarantee, whether it is a gym membership or something, hey, we're so confident, come and enjoy us for a month free of charge, as long as obviously you fill out the forms and your bank details, and then come month 2 you're locked into 12 months or 11 months, for example. And if you don't cancel within that first month, you're tied in for 11 months. But come and use us for a month, free of charge, classes, whatever. And there are a couple of gyms that do that well, whereas everyone else is sort of scrabbling around in the £10 a month membership kind of arena.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity for gyms like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
So just as they've sort of put out their Christmas stock, every year Sainsbury's will let you, I don't know if they've done it this year actually, because I haven't been anywhere, but you can normally go in and trade your Nectar points for double the amount in vouchers.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that.
but you have to pick the department you want the vouchers for. So electronics, grocery, whatever. But I just think that's a really smart thing, because you feel like you're getting something for free. Chances are you'll buy some other stuff whilst you're in there. They're causing a surge in demand in their store just as the Christmas stock goes in sort of September, October time. It's just a very clever way to get you in to then market other stuff to you.
Wow. Well, I say get that foot in the door, isn't it? I guess it's the same online as well. Hook people and just get them to come in and stick around for a little bit. The stickability of websites, for want of a better word, is important. Like, having a big shiny shop, even if you're in the middle of town, isn't a guarantee anymore. You've got to. What can you do to get them inside and then keep them inside, basically?
Yeah, and a lot of websites are very clever now in terms of telling you about when the sale's coming, reminding you when the sale starts, showcasing you products that they know are similar to things you've bought in the past or suit your buying behaviours. And there's just such an opportunity out there online now for doing it well.
Yeah, and I think it generally starts at the top, but drip feeds its way down really quickly. So small to medium-sized businesses, obviously the opportunities there already online, and massively so in terms of upselling, cross-selling, retargeting. And at the moment, still the vast majority of businesses aren't taking advantage. So whether you're running a sale or not, it's something that needs to be in like the top 5 of things to look at for your marketing next year. But as ever, obviously, do visit codebreak.co.uk if you'd like to know more. There we go, cheeky little plug. Got to spell it out though, Joel. We talked about this recently. Make it simple.
Visit codebreak.co.uk to book your discovery call now. Did you like
Was that some kind of dodgy, sexy voice?
No, it was just my automated response voice. You've made it real weird now.
I know this could really veer into dangerous territory, I think.
Last podcast before Christmas, and I sign off with my sexy voice. That's
sexy, creepy voice.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hello. Go to codebreak.co.uk.
Why? Well, traffic's just dived.
There we go. How to get rid of 4,000 podcast listeners.
Yeah. This is what Joel said.
Well, Merry Christmas, Joel, to one and all. I'm sure we'll have lots of exciting things to talk about in the new year as well. So I hope everyone will stay tuned.
Merry Christmas, everyone.